Meghan was very good at the psychology game, but she also showed how she was influencing not only Harry, but the entire story with her words, body language, and subtle clues. In this video, we'll dissect those psychological techniques. First, let's talk about posture. There are no more powerful words than this one frame from Meghan and Harry's engagement interview. Harry has his head cocked to the side and his shoulders hunched. His eyes appear worn out, nearly feeble, as if he is doubting himself. That slant, which gives away authority rather than confidence, is a quintessential indicator of submission. He doesn't have the appearance of a royal starting a new life. He already has the appearance of a guy bending. Compare that to Meghan now. Her eyes are concentrated, piercing, and as many have observed, cunning. Her head is kept absolutely straight. There's nothing friendly about that pinch smile. Calculation emanates from it. It's the type of expression where the eyes reveal the true thoughts while the lips follows along. The location of the hand and the claw come next. With her fingers clasped in dominance, Meghan's hand is securely on top. Though subtle, this conveys control in psychology. The one claiming authority is the one whose hand is above. Meghan isn't the encouraging fiancé in this situation. The story is being led by her. When combined, the image is incredibly clear. Meghan exhibits control and subdued dominance, while Harry exhibits fatigue and acquiescence. Let's proceed to the interview now. The psychological ploys Meghan employed will surprise you. She immediately asserted her authority by narrating a light-hearted household tale about roasting chicken. For us, good night, a comfortable evening. It was, what were we doing? Simply cooking and eating chicken, attempting to roast chicken, making an attempt to cook the chicken. And it was simply an incredible surprise. It was incredibly romantic, lovely, and organic. Although it may seem adorable at first, this was more than simply small talk from a psychological standpoint. Instead of portraying the relationship as calculating, that piece presented it as commonplace, genuine, and private. She wanted the world to perceive her as a regular lady who happened to fall in love with a prince, rather than as someone who was opportunistic. We refer to this strategy as narrative framing. She disarmed the audience and made herself seem relatable by humanizing herself right away, which is a potent psychological tactic when approaching a strict institution like the royal family. Her performance was significantly impacted by privacy as well. Meghan quickly stepped in to conceal the identity of the unknown friend who introduced them when questioned about it. Yes, that is when we first met. Actually, a common acquaintance connected us. We should be careful not to invade her privacy too much, but it was via her that it happened. It appeared noble at first, but it was much more than that. In terms of psychology, this was a conduct that set boundaries. Early on, she was giving the impression that she and Harry would be in charge of deciding what the world learned about them. It marked the beginning of a pattern that would eventually control the story before anybody else could. This further demonstrates how domineering she was toward Harry. If you contrast that with Prince William and Princess Catherine's engagement interview, you'll see that they wait for others to finish and never interrupt one another. Meghan, however, constantly interrupts to establish her authority. Then she inserted the assertion that she was ignorant of the royal family and naive. You don't grow up with the same perspective on the royal family since I'm from the United States. I didn't know anything about him, even though I now realize that there is a worldwide interest in him. Therefore, when she stated that she intended to set us up, I just asked her one question. Well, was he nice? I asked. Although we are aware it is untrue, Meghan opted to lie about it for two psychological reasons. Image management is the first explanation. She positioned herself as innocent, and even by portraying herself as naive, susceptible. Because the public starts to perceive her as someone who just entered the royal world with wide-eyed innocence, it becomes more difficult to criticize her. She used the same portrayal of innocence to win people over when racism was later accused. She believed that people were expected to support her without question. However, it backfired and caused conflict instead. Timing and vanity play a major role in her decision to lie about her lack of knowledge about the royal family. To what extent was Prince Harry aware of Meghan? Did you watch her on television? No, before this acquaintance mentioned Meghan Markle, I had never even heard of her. All right, I said, give me some background information about what's happening here. Therefore, no, I had never seen Suits. Meghan was someone I had never heard of. Her jaw clenched, and her smile vanished as soon as Harry admitted that he had no idea who Meghan was, demonstrating her attempt to hide her actual feelings. She then retaliates by claiming that she was also unfamiliar with Harry. However, I believe it was quite refreshing for us both because, considering that I didn't know anything about, he would discuss with me everything I knew about him and his family. And I learnt everything about him from him rather than from other news reports, tabloids, or other sources. Therefore, it was just a very natural and genuine method for us to get to know one another. When questioned about her career, she used yet another intriguing strategy. Meghan refused to acknowledge that she sacrificed it for marriage. She reframed it as a fresh chapter instead. Indeed. However, I don't think it's a sacrifice. I simply see it as a shift. It is a novel. This task is new. It is a novel, isn't it? A new chapter. Psychologists refer to this as cognitive reframing. She avoided coming across as someone who gave up her individuality for Monarchy by manipulating the circumstances. She instead portrayed it as an empowering decision that preserved her public persona and sense of self-worth. The story might have changed to show her as opportunistic, leaving all behind for status if she had acknowledged giving up her career. She made a concerted effort to stay out of that trap. Let's now discuss one of the most telling portions of the conversation. Harry's statement, "And I hope she loves me." Meghan's response was startling at that point. "I hope she feels the same way about me, because I feel like I know I'm in love with this girl." Rather than enthusiastically reassuring him right away, she fell silent and maintained a neutral expression for a few seconds. Consider it. It's only natural to grin, chuckle, or offer a warm reassurance when a man you love says he hopes you love him. None of that was done by Meghan. The psychological clue was that silence. It implied that love wasn't her first priority. Love wasn't her first priority. Inspiration at that moment. It alluded to a deeper meaning, prestige, reputation, and the advantages of having royal ties. The psychological game was further enhanced by non-verbal clues. Meghan's incessant smiles and giggles support the narrative she wished to convey. People feel more relaxed when they smile. It reduces mistrust and verifies what is being said. People could have begun to question her sincerity if she had maintained a straight expression. Maintaining long, direct eye contact with the interviewer when discussing your ethnicity further conveyed confidence and poise. What did you think, Meghan, when you realized that? She wanted the public to witness a confident, composed woman in the spotlight who was not intimidated. All of these contributed to the formation of public opinion. Even more control was evident in the way she spoke and used language. Although Meghan's comments were gentle, they had a strong structure. "You have to understand and keep in mind, right?" she said. And lastly, keep in mind, I've been working on my show for 7 years. Those are subtly manipulative instruments. They sound courteous while guiding the listener's thinking. Claiming to be gentle yet controlling the entire conversation is an example of covert dominance. It even had an effect on Harry. He frequently paused before speaking, as though to check with her first. She even occasionally gave him cues, indicating when it was okay for him to answer. That hesitancy revealed the real source of strength. As he stated, collaborate with others. Even when her stories were unverifiable, it seemed as though she was merely recollecting intimate memories. This strategy made it more difficult for the audience to question her story because it seemed grounded and intimate. After all, I'm genuinely just proud of who I am and where I've come from. And we've never given that any attention. We have only concentrated on our identity as a pair. And Harry's proud acknowledgement of the ring during the engagement interview was one of the most significant parts. He described how he had contributed to its design. In order for Diana to accompany the journey, they even included gems from her collection. Rather of being warm, Meghan's, it was almost a sneer of a reaction. There was a spark of something other than thankfulness in her face. Yes, exactly.